Hi everyone. So today I wanted to discuss about a problem. The problem in the sense that first let me give you the context in which I am discussing. So there are three entities on a platform. First is the second entity is the distributor. And this is a common uh, business scenario because now many of the businesses have this scenario where let's say they are a retailer and then comes the customer. That is how a normal business transaction works. And this seller could be a seller in the sense in a product, and this is a some brand, or it could be a manufacturer. So all these three are in this seller because the flow that starts for a particular product, it starts from the seller or a brand, some manufacturer. Although technically, if you see, um, these three entities are different, but for now we are assuming this inflow that they are same because we are assuming that a product or flow starts its journey from this specific bucket from a particular cell. So first let's describe the real business scenario transaction, how it happens. Then we will think about the platform, and then I will talk about the problem that I am thinking. So in normal businesses, brand, let's think of a brand. Let's say brand is a Birla Opus brand. You will have, I've been seeing a lot of ads from Birla Opus. Let's say it's a Birla Opus paint. They are launching the painting and industry. Birla Opus. So let me write it. Yes, Birla Opus. It is their brand. Now they have some distributors. How do they distribute? And these distributors, let's say, are defined by multiple criteria. Zone wise because many of the banks they divide the distribution to multiple zones, each zone of to manage their distribution channels and based on the product category segment and how much demand is there from that particular zone, they decide the volume and everything, but they have some zone divided in the distributor location wise. So location, zone, channel, they call it multiple things. And these are the distributors who sell that to retailers. Retailers are again, they are more specific, but one retailer can be mapped to multiple distributors. But again, be aware that a distributor has a distributor has multiple brands. That means that if he is carrying a product of Birla Opus brand, it's an let's say it's a hardware distributor who deals with the penalty and other related items. So it does not mean that the distributors carry only the Birla brand. So they have a brand of other painting like what are the other paints we have. Let's say other, just I'm writing but there are many other brands because Birla is a new company. So it contains and it has the brands of multiple, it has the product of multiple brands. So there is a that is part of distributor. Now to the retailer. Retailer also has multiple brands, but depending on the product category, Only one or two brands. So in the paint industry that we're talking about, there would be not more than, because recently I think Jindal also, they also have launched some product in the paint industry. So yes, Asian paints, yes, Asian paints, they are very big name. So yes, so distributor is mapped to the retailer and retailer serves to the particular location customer. These are, let's say a distributor serves to 1,000 retailers and retailer serves to, let's say, 50,000 customers. Let's say a Birla Opus brand serves to, depending on the product category, let's say 3,000 distributor or 4,000 distributor. It depends on the product category. So yes, this is the normal. Is, you can put an arrow to it. So product flows from the brand to the distributor and from the distributor to the retailer. It's a simple cycle, I think, in the many of the physical heavy scenarios where physically how trade happens. This is quite different from the B2C or any other e-commerce brands that you see, because if I let us not go into that detail, but let us think about this only. So this is our brand is there, then the distributor, then the retailer, then there is the customer. So let's say I have a platform, and I have a platform where I have mapped these entities. I map these entities as seller. I have mapped these entities on my application on my seller. And seller is the one who operates my application. Now let's come to my application, the application that I have. So in my application there are only two things: CFA, and then there is customer. I will explain to you what is a CFA in a bit. But yes. So in my platform, in my application, CFA is some form of, you can say, stockist level above the distributor. But the core difference remains in the CFA to the distributor is that CFA is the uh, related entity of the seller itself. So that is the first thing, because seller is the person who operates the CFA. CFA operates a warehouse. Let's say a brand has a warehouse to manage the distributor channels or retailer channels. So they just use this to so CFA distribute this to, again this is not a physical, this is a my application description I'm talking about. This is application that I application. This is my, let's say, web application on which I have tried to model the actual physical scenario into my application. Yes, so this is my application. This is the real world scenario, how it happens. Real. Now, on my platform, you understand the business rules. There are multiple orderings happening. Order focus on this. Let's focus on one aspect of it, that is order, how order happens. So distributor orders to the brand, let's say for a particular product value, for a particular product. Then it stores that and manages that, and that we call a primary order. It is primary order. Primary order. When distributor is ordering to the brand, then this is primary order. And when retailer is ordering from the, when retailer is secondary order, and we map this distributor to the CFO. Well, here the different secondary ordering, what is happening, distributor to retail, and the primary ordering, what is happening, seller to distributor. But issue comes here when we have mapped the distributor and CFA and retailer as customer, and this we have done for, let's say this I have done for primary and secondary order. This I have done for secondary order. Okay. Now what happens when my secondary ordering and secondary invoices, that part is fulfilled correctly, because why? Because now I'm treating retailer as a customer and distributor as a CF. Okay. But what happens when I want to implement in the same application primary ordering feature? Means now distributor will also order to the seller. Now you see what happens. Now distributor has to become the customer, and seller will become the seller will remain as a seller, but again distributor role will change. Distributor in the secondary ordering was the CFA, or let's say in the case seller, not seller, CFA, because customer ordering. And but since in our platform there are only three entities defined: seller, CFA, and customer. If I have the first the secondary ordering, I have considered distributor as a CFA, and it is taking order from the customer. Now CFA is taking order and CFA is placing order in the primary order to the seller. Last one, implementation level issues that you are going to face. Second thing from the technical perspective is that when you change your architecture or allow this HFS to it's actually a technical debt or I would say change that strategic decision or something that has to be think through a new holistic level or a whole application level, not a single brand level or a company level or a particular customer level. This has because this will change your whole application logic itself. How you are going to apply this for future customers, for future FSS, for future for your code base. Because once you change your data model and how you are defining in your database and how you model each of the entities and what are the IDs, what are the role-based permissions that you are given to each of those entities and what different set of actions are they performing. So this will impact that. So to solve for this, you need to create or change this entity's role into something more broader. Because right now CFA has become very Very